Hello everyone, I hope you are well, I hope you're feeling good, and if you're not feeling good, then tomorrow's a new day, because, sometimes we have bad days. I actually haven't been feeling great recently. Do you know what it is? It's the weather, and I always knew that the weather, affected my mood, I've always known this, but I feel like it makes a huge difference when it's supposed to be summer and the weather is just not giving. Now, we live in the UK. This is very normal for the weather to be dull. Come on, we know this. But when it's August and we're still dealing with it, it's it's not quite what we want. I literally got my fan out, and then the week after I got the fan out, the weather was crap. Although today it's a little bit sunny, so I'm not complaining. But that weather has been really, really putting me down. And I did an episode a couple episodes ago about feeling meh and how to turn it into positive. So if you are feeling a little bit down and you need a bit of positive advice, positive vibes, then please go listen to that episode, because that episode will hopefully make you feel a little bit better about yourself if you're trying to get into a positive headspace. I am currently working through those things and trying to get myself back to positive me. I'm getting there, but naturally, me being me, I'm on the road, I'm yeah, and then all of a sudden stressed. I'm going so well, stressed, and I'm this isn't a thing. I don't need this. It's not what I want. Although the thing I'm being stressed about is actually a very exciting thing. So I'm just typically the type of person that has their finger in every single pie, and then when they go away has to make sure everything is ready to go so I don't stress when I come back. So yeah, but that's my own fault. I like to be busy. So yeah, but I wanted to talk today about being comfortable in your own skin. Now, this is easier said than done, very, very easier said than done. And I just wanted to kind of chat about it, mainly because if you don't listen to the other episodes, or if you didn't know this, I have been going to Pilates since January, start this year. And the reason why I started going to Pilates is, one, because I was I need to add some exercise into my life, because most of what I do, I spend at home. I'm sat down a lot. I was I need to be doing some sort of exercise. And Pilates seemed like something that I could do, that I felt comfortable doing. It was in a class. If you didn't know already, I used to hate exercise, to the point where I felt so uncomfortable. It would make me feel really anxious. I remember every time we did PE at school, I hated it. I never felt good at anything. I never felt like I was good at it, and therefore, because I didn't feel like I was good at it, it made me worry more. And I also used to be really, really self-conscious when I was at school, so that didn't help the whole working out scenario. And then as I got older, and even when I moved to London and I was thinking about it, I just felt like a lot of people were oh, well, you're slim, you don't need to worry. You're skinny, you don't need to worry. And actually, no. Well, technically, no, I didn't. But my body was not feeling its best. Since then, I've been working out, and I've seen a change in my body, and for the good. A different change, a change that I'm not used to, but a change that I feel like I needed, and I feel better for it. And I do feel more fit when I do workout classes. I'm I can actually do this. I'm not stressed out about it. But that doesn't mean to say that, the change of my body didn't make me feel a little bit what do I do here? Now, this episode is not about body as such, because being comfortable in your own skin comes down to a lot of things. It's not necessarily down to how you physically look. I think that, there's a lot down to the way you think, or the habits you have, or, all sorts of things. There's so many areas to what makes you, but also what makes you, things you do that make you feel more comfortable within your own skin or the situation you're in. Because I think that when you're not feeling comfortable in yourself, there's often lots of other areas that need to be tackled before you can feel physically comfortable in your own self, I think, sometimes. Because for instance, if you're going through a lot mentally, you then might not feel like your best in your own self when you look at yourself. And like vice versa, maybe your mental health's great, but there's something not right, when you look at yourself. There's so many different areas to it. And whilst I want to sit here and say, do you know what? It's easy. You can easily change it. You can't. It's not as easy said than done. My legs are feeling really sweaty, sat down. You did not need to know that. I've got shorts on, and when you get like sweaty back of knees. Anyway, you didn't need to know that. But I thought I'd run through some things that kind of you can add maybe to your daily life, potentially maybe even just adding to your thinking of how you're feeling. Maybe it will just give you a bit of an eye-opener of how to make yourself a little bit more confident. Maybe you're stuck. Maybe you're like, I don't know what to do anymore. And I thought I'd just talk about this because I think we all go through this. We all feel a little bit uncomfortable in our own skin at times. And when you get into the whole of it, it can make it really hard to get out. And do you know what? First of all, I just want to say to all of you, if you're worried about anything, you are amazing. Every single one of you, you're amazing in your own right. You look great. You're a fabulous person. So don't ever think that you're not. And if you're not comfortable in your own skin, remember you will be one day, and you will feel your best self, and you'll get to a point where you'll be like, oh my God, yay. And obviously there's so many different scenarios of not feeling comfortable in your own skin. Maybe you've had a baby. Maybe you've started taking medication and it's changed your weight. Maybe you've been through something mentally and it's really taken its toll. There's so many different things. Maybe you're struggling at work and, you're not feeling as healthy as you once were. There's so many different scenarios. But just remember that you will one day feel better, and you'll feel better in yourself and how you feel about everything, and everything will go great. So just remember that. But sometimes it takes time, and we all know that it's going to take time. I feel like I've just repeated myself. I'm so sorry. My brain is not where it needs to be today. But that leads me on to the first one, which is prioritizing yourself. When you're feeling down, low, when you're not feeling your best, it's important to prioritize yourself in how you want to do your life, how you want to do your days, and not giving in to things that maybe would sway how you're going to do your day. For example, say you've planned your day, you're going to the shop to get food, and you're coming back, then you're going to a workout class and you're doing something else. But they're all just things on your own, just general weekend Saturday. And then someone says, do you want to do this, and the other? And you could be like, I could fit it into my day, but I didn't actually plan it. Don't let little things that you don't necessarily need to be doing sway you when you're prioritizing yourself and what you're thinking about. Because sometimes I think whilst it's lovely to hang out with friends and it's lovely to help people out, sometimes you need to be like, no, actually, like, I have planned this day to prioritize myself. I'm going to prioritize myself. Making sure that you are the top priority is definitely important when you're going through something. And even in general, I think, because like when you're in a relationship or whatever, you sometimes do tend to not necessarily prioritize yourself because you're also thinking about someone else, which is also very, very normal. But when you're in a headspace of not feeling your best, it's good to kind of strip it back and just be like, okay, what can I do to make myself the priority right now, to get myself back on track to being me? Because when you dip and you don't sit in that realm of like being yourself and you kind of don't feel yourself again, it's nothing that someone else can do that's going to make you better. You've got to do it yourself. Yes, they can help to some extent, but they're not going to be the people that are going to get you to where you need to be. You have to mentally be ready to be at a point where you're like, yes, okay, I've got here by myself. Like, I've got here. Because it's like anything. Someone can tell you time and time again that guy's not right for you. But it's until you've figured it out and you've worked it out that then you're like, okay. So when it comes to prioritizing yourself, you've got to prioritize yourself. And you've got to, whilst it's great to have people around you and it's so important to have people around you, make sure that you like focus on yourself, even with the people around you. Give yourself the time and just understand where you're coming from with all the thoughts, the feelings, whatnot that you're having that might be making you feel a little bit low. Another one is practicing healthy social media habits. Something we should all be doing. Something I'm trying my best to get into actually, because social media can have a real knock-on effect with how you might feel about something. If someone's saying something, someone's annoying you, potentially you see a news article and that just like makes you dip. The other day I was on TikTok and I saw a news thing popped up in the middle of my TikTok, which I never watch because I don't pay attention to the news. I know that could be seemed as a bad thing, but I personally like to live my life without being stressed out constantly. So I saw something and I literally was like, I'm gonna have to, it started to make my head go a bit funny. I just felt a bit like, oh, I think it was about someone dying or something. Oh God, sorry. And I was like, I can't be watching this. Like, this is making me feel weird. So I scrolled past it. But seeing those things at the wrong time of day can be a real like detrimental feeling to how you might sleep or how you might start the day. In the mornings when you wake up, don't look at your phone. Put some affirmations on, put some music on, put a podcast on that you like to listen to that's uplifting. Listen to something or play some music, or maybe just put your phone I don't know, turn your alarm off and just put it away and just do the bits and bobs you might need to do before you look at your phone. Like, actually wake your body up, start your day before you start scrolling on social media, because social media genuinely has a lot of negative whilst you might be following a lot of positive. It doesn't matter who you're following. There's someone out there that you might be following that will say something maybe a bit negative, or maybe, I don't know, that's not right where you're at, that might bother you. Like, someone might be like, oh my God, I'm having the best day, and that might trigger you, because there's something about when someone's really boasty about their lives or how much work they've done, or like, oh, look at me, it can sometimes knock you, especially if you're not in the right headspace. So with social media, definitely like try to make your social media habits a little bit less important, but also maybe condense how much you're using your phone. Maybe only scroll a little bit in the morning, a little bit in the evening, a little bit in the day. Don't do it just before you go to sleep, because that is the worst, because then your brain starts thinking about things it doesn't need to be thinking about. That's something I have to really force myself not to do, because I like to scroll on TikTok before I go to sleep. And I tell you what, that's not a bad idea. And I've been no, that is a bad idea. And I've been told by many people to not do that, but I still do it because I can't help myself. You could also potentially change your mindset. If you're really struggling, a change in mindset is a really, really good way to start, because changing your mindset can really help you to move past something. But changing your mindset is really, really hard sometimes. So if you really are trying to get yourself feeling, you know, more comfortable in your own skin, have a mindset that is like positive, like, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. Now, you might not feel it, but you got to fake it till you make it. If you're not feeling great, but you want to feel great in your own skin, you have to constantly tell yourself, I'm great. I'm feeling great. And then eventually you will start to believe it and you will start to feel it. But you have to fake it till you make it. Unfortunately, these things sometimes don't come as easy as we think. So sit there and be like, yeah, I'm great. Every single day, look in the mirror. God, you look great. Sometimes when I'm like, I put something on, an outfit on, I'm like, wow, I look good. Or if I take a good picture, like for my Instagram, and I'm like, oh my God, I look so good. It just makes you feel better, because you recognize that you look good in the way you're dressed that day. Or do you know what I mean? So sometimes you do just have to like fake the feelings until you get the true feelings, especially with a mindset if you're really struggling. So like, even if you put post-its around your house that say little really positive affirmations about, you know, I feel comfortable in my own skin or whatever. There's so many out there. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but those are also things you can do to like remind yourself constantly, and then you'll kind of naturally get yourself into the mindset without forcing it. Because I think sometimes when you're really struggling, forcing yourself into a new mindset can just make it more confusing and harder. You want to slowly get yourself in. So having positive affirmations around your house, your flat, even if you just put them in the front of your notebook and you read them every morning, like just something like that will help you to just refresh your brain every morning and be like, yeah, I am great. The more you tell yourself you're great, the more you'll believe it. If it's potentially possible, you can find a new job. Jobs are hard because we all know it's not easy to find a job. It's also not easy to just switch and change what you're doing. But if your job is really, really, really testing you to the point where you're struggling, I urge you to leave. I'm only saying this from my own point of view because I have had the situation where I got so anxious and stressed every single day. Towards the end of working there, I literally was getting, my ex at the time was like, you need to quit. And I was like, I can't quit. I need the money. So I do understand it. But if you have the opportunity to leave your job, then leave your job. Like, do something new, like try something else out, because I can totally understand that it's hard to leave a job, but also it is so detrimental to your mental health. Is that the right word? I think so. When you just let it happen, you're just letting it happen. I didn't even try to find a new job because I was like, I can't, I don't know. I was really worried. But the minute I left that job, I've not had work anxiety stress like that since. So that was a good move. But moving jobs is hard, but if you have the opportunity to do that, could really, really help, especially if, you're dealing with a work drama, or maybe your job is quite stressful. It can be something that might ease that feeling comfortable with your life, because whilst feeling comfortable in your own skin is a lot of like physical things and mental things, when you're dealing with stress around you, that can also make you feel a little bit not your best. So definitely see if you can switch it up in the workplace, or even maybe working from home a bit more, if that makes a difference to you. This one is a physical one, and that is spending time naked. Look in the mirror. I know that this is easier said than done, because I'm not going to sit here and say it's super easy, just stand in front of the mirror. It's easier said than done. You can start by, if you're really struggling, fully clothed, and then every time you start to feel a bit more comfortable, you remove something, not in like a sexual way, but in a just like, okay, well, start clothed, and then eventually you can get to the point where you can stand in the mirror and look at yourself and be naked and be like, yeah, girl, I look good. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is where you want to get to. That is when you get to that point, you'll be like, yes, I did it. It's not the easiest thing. We all know that. But if you can try and bring it into your routine, maybe when you just get out of the shower, or do it in a time when you haven't got to physically just take all your clothes off to look in the mirror, and maybe do it when you are feeling like you're about to go in the shower, or you come out of the shower when you're feeling your best. Maybe you've got your makeup on, your hair's done. That's a good time to do it, actually, because when you have your makeup, your hair done, you're feeling good facially. It does make you feel a little bit better about your body. Also, do it in the morning before you've eaten. Now, I say this because when you've eaten food, when you've had anything, naturally your stomach isn't going to be looking its best, because you bloat and you don't feel your best. By the end of the day, your body's gone through everything. Do you know what I mean? It's not fresh. It's sat down. It's tired. It's gone to the gym. There's so many things. Do you know what I mean? So in the morning, do it in the morning if you can, because then you're literally fresh out of bed. I think that's when you feel your most confident. But then also do it in the evening as well, so you can understand the changes of your body. I think it's important to actually know how you look in the morning and how you look in the evening, because how you look and how you feel in your body, it makes so much sense. Because sometimes by the evening I'm like, oh my God, I'm so bloated, and I have to go through everything I've eaten. I'm like, what has sent me this way? But I know that that's not how I look. That's just bloating. So you don't want to get yourself in the headspace thinking, oh, it always look like this, when you don't. Just sometimes when you eat certain things, your body's like, whoa, what are you doing? It's not a vibe. Talking of bodies, one thing that I think is something we all should remember, and I think, you've probably seen and heard a lot of people talking about this, is remembering that when you're buying clothes, you aren't defined to one size. Every shop is different. Every clothing piece is different. Every style, every material is different. Don't confine yourself to a particular size. Now, I do understand if you are plus size and you struggle to find clothes, because I know it's a very difficult area in terms of there's not as many options for plus size gals. So I do totally understand that. It's not as easy changing sizing and whatnot. But I just wanted to say this because I think it's important that we don't restrict our mindset with clothes to like sizing, because sizing actually doesn't mean anything. You could walk down the street and see a girl who looks, I don't know, a size 8, for example, but she could be wearing a size 12. She could be wearing a size 6. Who knows? No one knows. You don't know what any person's wearing, what size anyone's wearing. It's not like written on you like size 6, size 10. Like, you don't know. So as long as you feel comfortable in what you're wearing, that is the most important thing. It doesn't really matter about what size you're buying. Sometimes, you know, you have to go up a few sizes because the style isn't really what you're looking for, but you like that item of clothing. Sometimes, you know, I do think with high street brands especially, they do get sizing off sometimes, and you put it on and you think, what the is this? This is not giving how it's supposed to give. But remember, it's not your body. Nothing is like, when brands and clothing brands and whatnot design clothes, they design it to a sample size, what is deemed as the average size, shall we say. So don't feel like because you don't fit into the average size of them fitting certain items that you are not the perfect size, or you don't fit in anything or whatever. It's not about the fact that you don't fit into their clothes. They've just made them to fit a certain type of person. And obviously, naturally, every single person is different. And do you know what baffles me is that clothing brands haven't clocked on or actually thought about the fact that the average size in the UK is 16? Is it 14? It's something like that. I'm pretty sure it is. Let me Google this actually, because I don't want to get that wrong. But I feel like that is the average size, because I've hang on, average size in UK. Yeah, 16. So like, why do brands not make clothing for that size? I really don't understand. Or don't make a range. Like, everything should be that size. Every single item that you sell should be every single size. It baffles me, because if that's the average size, then why? Anyway, I don't want to make anyone feel bad about it. You look great no matter what, okay? It's down to the clothing brands, not you. You look amazing. Whatever you put on, fabulous. Dress how you want, wear what you want. Don't stress about the size. Obviously, I'm saying this coming from someone who probably finds it a little bit easier to find clothes. So I'm really not trying to be like, it's easy, because I know it's not. Believe you me, I do understand. But I just want you guys to understand that, or feel like it's not you. It's the flipping clothing brands that aren't inclusive. It's a joke, if you ask me. Something that you have to work on yourself is stopping the idea of seeking validation from other people. You are the only person who should be validating yourself. You are the only person who should be worrying about how you look, and you should be the only person who should be telling you how amazing you are. Yes, you might have a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, who's like, you look amazing, which we love. We love friends and family members, partners that say those things. But you need to feel it before you let someone else tell you that. You can't wait for people to be like, you look incredible, you look amazing, wow, I love this. Like, I just feel like you have to be the only person that validates you. You have to validate yourself. You can't have other people validating you. It doesn't work like that. When you're waiting for other people's validations, it means that you don't believe in yourself. You don't feel comfortable in your own skin. You should feel that when someone tells you you look incredible, you should be like, in your head, you don't have to say it out loud, but like, I know I do. Like, I feel great. So that is how you should feel. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you start to believe in yourself and believe that you look amazing, going back to those affirmations before, then you can start to be like, oh, yeah. When someone tells you a compliment, you're not waiting for the compliment. You know, you're walking down the street and you know that you look fucking good. You're like, yeah, I look fucking good. When someone looks at you, you're like, yeah, because I look good. You're not looking at it like, oh my God, why are they looking at me? They probably think I look this, that, and the other. No. You're walking down the street and you're like, yeah, I feel good. You see a boy look at you. You're looking at me because I look good. He might not be thinking that, but that's what you tell yourself. The amount of times I tell myself on the tube when I see like a guy, I'm like, he thinks I look good. He probably doesn't, but I just tell myself that, and it makes me feel great. That is weird behavior, I know, but I tell you what, when you walk down the street and you tell yourself that, you have no idea what he's thinking. He might be thinking something like, oh, what stop am I getting off next? No. In your head, in your world, he thinks you look great. But it's not about what he thinks. It's about what you think. When you feel great in yourself, everything else just doesn't matter. But when you're seeking it from other people, like, do I look good? What do you think? I've seen it before where people have sought the validation, but then don't like it from certain people, but they're complimenting you. So you do have to think about it yourself. You have to feel good in yourself before you start asking what other people think, because that can be quite detrimental to then how you think if you're being swayed by someone. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a hard one. I know it's not an easy thing to like switch to, but again, use the affirmations. That's a good way of like validating yourself. Tell yourself, fake it till you make it, and tell yourself, you look good, babes. I don't know why I'm talking so weird today. I'm so sorry. I've got so much on my mind that I don't even know if I'm making sense. So yeah, next one is build on your self-worth. It kind of goes along with the validation one. You've got to build yourself up. You've got to build yourself up. Practice self-love. Do things that make you feel great. Do things that make you feel good. And just focus on, like I said, prioritizing yourself and doing things that make you feel the best you. Because then you start to feel better in yourself. When you start to feel better in yourself, your like self-confidence is just like, whew, it's just so good. And it's so great. And you can walk down the street and be like, yeah, I look great. Don't ever think that you're not great, because you are. And if you need to do a full-on pamper 3 times a week to make yourself feel great, that's okay. You can do that. If you want to buy certain foods that make you feel better, do that. Obviously, there are certain things that will naturally are going to make you feel a bit crap. Like if you keep eating crap food, then that might make you feel a bit crap, because believe you me, when I've had like, I remember there was one week I had like 3 McDonald's in a week. This was ages ago. I haven't had McDonald's, oh my God, in so long. But anyway, and I was like, why do I feel so crap? It's just because I kept eating crap. Now, nothing wrong if you like to eat McDonald's. I'm not slating anyone who eats McDonald's. It's great. But what I'm saying is if you constantly eat crap food, sometimes it can make you feel a bit bleh. So when you're trying to practice self-love, eat some really good food. Go on a walk. If you don't like exercise, just go on a walk. A walk is great for the body. Get 10,000 steps in. Oh, you feel great. Just do whatever exercise suits you. If you like swimming, if you like going to the gym, if you like walking on the treadmill, if you like Pilates, if you like doing a class, whatever floats your tennis, bit of tennis. I see people playing tennis down my road all the time, and I'm like, love that for you, but I actually would probably whack the tennis ball into someone's window, so we're not going to try that one. But yeah, work on your self-love. Give yourself a bit of time, but like just keep practicing it, because self-love and like being the most loving person to yourself is what you ultimately need in life before you start ever taking compliments and things from other people. Because when you start focusing on compliments from other people, you then don't believe it necessarily. So if you focus on yourself and what you're saying to yourself, then when other people tell you things, you can believe it in or not believe it, whatever floats your boat, but know that you feel the best you. Does that make sense? I hope so. Another thing is to heal from past issues. We all have a past and we all have issues that we've had to deal with. Believe you me, we all have issues. Like, I don't think anyone out there doesn't have an issue with something that you've dealt with as a child or as you've grown up. Like, one thing I struggle with, this is actually really random, but when I used to have really bad social anxiety when I was younger, I used to, when I tried to push myself through the anxiety, which I did manage to do, I used to like butt into conversations a little bit to get my point across, because people wouldn't listen to me. I wasn't loud enough. People would like talk over me. And to this day, I still try, like, I'll talk over people just to get my point across, because I feel like people aren't going to let me talk. And I know I'm doing it, and it's not necessarily a good thing, because I know that sometimes people are like, oh, butted in. And I don't ever want people to think that I'm butting into their conversations, but it's like something I've annoyingly taught myself. But that is something that I healed from those issues, but I still haven't fully healed from that social anxiety idea that I don't always need to be pushing myself into conversations. People will let you speak. Certain people won't, but people will let you speak. But anyway, that's so off topic really. But heal for past issues. Give yourself a bit of time. Work through your issues. Work through your traumas, because all of those things will help you to become a better person in yourself. People that aren't healed from their past traumas take it out on other people. Not necessarily everyone, but I have experienced it personally from people have not healing, and then I've had it taken out on me. And I'm a bit like, I can take it to an extent, anyone could take it to an extent, but healing your traumas is so important, and you will feel better for yourself. For yourself, you will feel better for it. Oh my god, am I okay? I don't think I am. Surround yourself with positive people also. This is something that I have learned over the last couple of years, and it is so important. I've always said that you should surround yourself with positive people, but when you surround yourself with people that actually make you feel good, that don't make you feel like shit, that don't say weird comments about people, who don't have negativity. I mean, naturally, everyone has a bit of negativity. That's quite normal, but it's not constant. Like when it's constant, oh my God, hate it. If you neg, don't come near me. I'm not about negative lives. I'm not about neggy people. I hate it. So if you're negative, go away. Can't be my friend. Sorry. It's quite aggressive really, but I just think that positive people bring so much love and light into your life that why wouldn't you want positive people in your life? Because they will actually make you feel so much better, and like not only all the other things will help you feel better, but when you've got positive people around you, even when you dip into these like low moments or moments where you don't feel as confident in yourself, you have them to be like, come on, you've got this. And then you're like, okay, yep, I have got this. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, also looping back to before when I was talking about, not letting other people validate you. You've got to not care what people think. Sometimes we do tend to get into that habit where we're like, oh, what if they think this? Oh, people are going to think I'm weird. Like I was on the tube the other day, and I don't tend to shave the top parts of my legs. I don't think many people do. Women, let me know. And I was on the tube and I realised my tops of my legs are hairy, and someone was looking down. I don't even know if they were looking at my legs. And I went into paranoia that I was like, oh my God, do they think I'm gross? Do they think I'm weird? Do they think, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I literally started getting myself into a hole because I felt like I was gross because someone else might be thinking, oh, she's not shaved her legs. I mean, the bottom parts of my legs were shaved, but anyway, not the point. And like, who cares? Like, who actually cares? But I must have been feeling quite low that day because it really got to me. But who actually cares? No one's actually caring if your legs are hairy. Like, people are too focused on their own lives, and that's something I always forget, is that people are always too focused on what they're doing and what they're thinking, where they're going next. They might notice your leg hair, but then they'll probably move on to something else in a minute and they'll forget it. Most people forget half the stuff that they see on the tube, on the way there. You don't necessarily remember everything, and people won't remember everything. So try not to think about what other people will think. Most people will see something, see it, and it will be gone out of their mind within the next hour, next minute, even the next day. Like it's not something that sticks with them forever. So you've got to just love yourself and not care what anyone else thinks. Like I don't really care what other people think, apart from the times when I get in my head a little bit and I'm like, because yeah, it's not good. But do you know what you can do is recognize when you're self-sabotaging yourself, because when you're sabotaging yourself, you'll know, like we all do it. We all know. Sometimes we choose to ignore the fact that we're self-sabotaging ourselves. But sometimes I'm like, what are you doing? Stop it. Like I'll have to like tell myself, I'm like doing something and I'm like, no, stop. Like, what are you doing? You have to like talk to yourself and be like, why are you saying these things to yourself? Because you don't need to be saying these things to yourself. You know this isn't correct. And when you start recognizing that you're sabotaging yourself, then you can start to be like, okay, right. This is when I'm self-sabotaging myself, I'm going to tell myself off. I'm going to go and do something positive. I'm going to go and do this. I will do this. Or I'm going to, if I keep doing this, then I need to go and read a book, or I need to go and like listen to some music. When you are self-sabotaging yourself and you recognize it, you then can start to change your mindset and your narrative and be like, okay, well, no, I don't think like that. You're just being silly right now. You're being stupid. You know that's not true. And you kind of have to remind yourself, actually, do you know what? It's okay. You're self-sabotaging yourself and you know it. So stop and remember that you're amazing. And then you can read your affirmations and make yourself feel positive. But when you start to recognize that you're spiraling or you're saying shit for the sake of no reason, like sometimes I start to overthink things for absolutely no reason. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, actually stop. And it kind of gets to the point where you start to annoy yourself. You're like, oh my God, do you have to do this? Do you have to keep doing this? Really? Today, of all days, do you have to keep doing this? So, yeah. But when you recognize it, it does help you because you then start to be like, okay, well, I know that this isn't real. I know that this isn't actually what people think. I know this isn't actually how I feel. I'm just having a moment. And we're all entitled to our moments. We all have moments. Believe you me. I started spiraling last night. I was trying to go to sleep. I can't remember about what. Couldn't tell you. But I was spiraling about something. And I was like, just go to sleep. Just shut your eyes. Go to sleep. Don't you find it funny when you go to sleep that you're essentially just like pretending to be asleep before you go to sleep? And I tried explaining this to a guy when I was on a date and he just didn't get it. And I was like, you don't understand my mind. This is the thing, right? You have to understand the way I think if we're going to be together. And he didn't get it. We never went on a second date, so you can imagine how that went. But yeah, he was like, no, you don't pretend to be asleep. I was like, yeah, you do. When you're laying in bed, you close your eyes, you're pretending to be asleep. And then eventually you fall asleep. Anyway, so off topic. But I thought we'd just round this off by saying, you are amazing. And everything about you is amazing. And the person you are becoming, the person you're working on is fabulous. And don't ever let anyone tell you that you're not amazing or make you feel crap. If they're saying those things, get rid of them. You have every right to feel the best version of yourself. And sometimes it takes a bit of time, and that's okay. We're just naturally the type of people that sometimes don't always feel great. Sometimes we do feel bad, but sometimes we feel great and positive and amazing. And it's just recognizing what makes you feel good, what makes you feel the best you, what you can do when you're feeling low. All of these things are things that are so important, but you have to work them out for yourself, and you have to work on yourself for yourself. Like, you can't be doing it for other people. You have to recognize that you need to do it for you, and whatever suits you and whatever makes you feel better is what you need to do. I can give you all these things and I can tell you all these things, but it's actually focusing on yourself and how you feel, where it stems from, what you need to work on, that will then make you feel more comfortable in your own skin. Because you are, oh God, I can't speak. You are like the only you. You are the only you. You are unique. You might look like someone else, but you are unique, because everyone is their own person. You might be similar to someone, but you're different. Everyone's different. You're not the same there's not like constant clones. We're all different. You might look like your sister, but you're a different person. You're interested in different things. Every single person is different. So use your uniqueness to your advantage, regardless if you feel unique or not. Sometimes, you might feel like, oh, I just look the same as the next girl. No, but yes, you're unique to you. You have different parents. You come from a different world. Like, everyone's different. So use that to your advantage and just, love yourself for the amazing human being that you are, because you're all amazing. And I could keep saying this to you, but I just want you all to feel fabulous. And hopefully this episode has made you feel a little bit more positive, or given you a little push in the right direction. I don't know what I'm doing. Please don't take everything I'm saying as gospel. I'm just trying to give you guys a little bit of help and make you feel a little bit better about what you can do to make yourself feel better. And I'm sorry if I've repeated myself, because I definitely have. And if you're watching, I'm sorry if you could keep seeing me scratching my knee. I have got major stress itch at the moment. Little stress being over here, but by the time I record the next episode, hopefully I won't be as stressed, because I've had to record a couple in advance because I'm going away, and I will let you guys know how Copenhagen Fashion Week is next week's episode, because I'll be able to share. But anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much for listening. If you do want to keep up to date, please follow the Still Got Time podcast TikTok and Instagram. They're both called Still Got Time Podcast. You can follow me. I am Charlotte Olivia is my handle on everything: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. And please do send a DM over to me if you want to, me or the podcast or wherever, if you have any topic ideas. And also please do give the podcast a rating and I was going to say thumbs up, but if you're watching, give it a thumbs up. I'm going to love you and leave you, but remember, you've still got time to be comfortable in your own skin, and I will see you all next week. Bye!